Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Content Room. This is a podcast done by Hype Media Network where we bring great minds that shape the future of content in Sri Lanka. And today we have a person in this room in this podcast who doesn't need too much of introduction. He's a strategist. He's a digital revolutionary. He has been behind some of the greatest campaigns that we have seen in the market in the past. We have Tilan Wijeyesekera. Hi.
Hi, Ruki.
Uh,
Nice to
im-
be here.
Thank you for coming. Impaired visionary.
Yeah, yeah.
That's your new. How do I say? How do you introduce yourself now?
Yeah, it's my new brand, I guess. After exiting the corporate world with this, due to the personal issue I had to face with the health challenge, I was trying to figure out what to do. Obviously, I got into a few startups and, the kind of stuff we do together as well, and the businesses. But there had to be more to life, right? And now I go as Impaired Visionary, launching now my new brand. And the tag, if you want to have a tagline for that, is changing people's lives. So now my whole thing is about helping other people overcome their challenges, and not just overcoming challenges, but unleashing their potential, maximizing their potential. So yeah, that's my
Yeah.
new content.
So, Tilan, you've been behind some of the greatest campaigns in the past. So let's go back to those days. Let's go back to the beginning. How did you get into marketing, and where did this content game start for you?
Oh boy, how do I get into marketing? That's a long story.
Because I know you have started from a auditing background and then
Exactly.
took a
Yeah,
you
yeah,
turned into FMCG and marketing and all of that. So
yeah.
where did Tilan became the marketer that we know now?
Oh gosh, it was a crazy story back in the day. I remember in school, we had a what you call a pool here in the pool, right? Swimming pool. And there's one guy who was much older than the rest of us who were in school, who was doing an MBA. And even back then, I had a bit of skills when it comes to, I guess, writing and stuff like that. And he gave me an MBA assignment to polish up, if I can
Mhm.
put it that way. And
So basically, you did this assignment for him.
no, no, no. No, he had done it, but he wanted me to polish it up, make it nicer,
Okay.
sound better, grammar, whatever, all that, right, jazz. And, the assignment was on branding.
Hmm.
I had no clue what branding was, right? I was a school kid,
Hmm.
17, 18 years old, perhaps, and I had no clue what I wanted to do with my life at the time. Only thing I knew is I want to get out of school at some point and get a job because circumstances in the family and all that to start earning. And I was thinking of getting into sales because you had heard sales guys make a decent living and make a
Yeah,
bit of
of
money,
course.
right?
Yeah.
Commissions and things like that. So, and then when I read his article, it was about branding. And in it I still remember today, right, that there was a quote by the former, I think, CEO chairman of Revlon or something like that, who said, in our factories we create products, and in our stores we sell hopes and dreams. That kind of hit me. And then I wanted to learn more about branding, and then I realized that branding is something crazy powerful in this world, and I wanted to get into that. So I didn't know what it was, but I wanted to get into it, let's put it that way. But back then, marketing wasn't really seen as a great profession, right?
Yeah.
Marketing was something, your parents did in the weekend in the Polar or something like that, or the supermarket.
Yeah. But
So
when people hear the word marketing, they
yeah,
connected it with sales directly.
that's right.
They
That's
didn't know
right.
that this has.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they saw me as, okay, I'll be, wearing a tie, getting in and out of a lorry doing sales.
Yeah.
That's what they saw. And they had never forced me to do anything in my life because my father got sick when I was very early on in my life, and I didn't have a lot of direction in that way. I took my own decisions, but they kind of tried to maneuver me towards doing finance.
Right.
And I remember going for an interview and blah blah blah, and ended up becoming an audit trainee, right?
Yeah.
But did it just for 1 year and came back into marketing, became that sales rep who
Yeah.
got in and out of all those lorries,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Selling everything from, I think, big
Yeah.
razors, Laxapana, batteries
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Denta toothbrushes, which became my first
Yeah.
brand
I
after
I,
that.
rem- I
And
remember Rohan.
Hacks be my
Yeah.
favorite. Yeah.
I think it was Rohan Atukorala, one of your
Rohanta.
friends,
Yeah.
Rohanta,
Yeah.
who was telling,
First lecturers.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you have not done sales that way in a lorry,
Yeah.
don't get into marketing.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. He was my lecturer too. Shout out. Yeah.
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 So
Um,
done that.
so story comes. That, I mean, it's a long journey. I know. I don't
Yeah.
think we have time to go through
Nah.
everything. So
Nah.
to cut that short, um, if you take us back to that one campaign
Mhm.
which made you realize, yeah, I belong here.
Mm.
You know, I
Mm.
mean, sometimes people get into industries and they do certain
Yeah.
things and they realize,
Yeah.
okay, this is not for me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But is was there something that
Oh
made you
yeah.
realize, oh
Oh yeah.
shit, this is where I belong. Marketing is where I belong.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, 2 to 3 incidents in my life earlier on in my first three jobs reinforced that decision. And thereon was it just up and away, I guess, as well. I was fortunate enough to have a decent career. The first one being Ninja,
Hmm.
right? When got out of the field from doing sales, to come into the office, we just had another chat with an old friend of mine, Chatura, just a few minutes
Yeah,
ago.
yeah,
Chatura and I both came off the field at Dali Butler and joined the Ninja team as
yeah.
brand executives along Ninja, and that was a phenomenal success.
Hmm.
What a lot of people don't know is the initial launch of Ninja actually failed.
Okay,
It was about a ninja coming and chopping up a
I remember
mosquito
that. Right?
CG back in the day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But that failed. And we came in and with Reshan, the brand manager at the time, we relaunched it with that campaign, those iconic Api Balagan Kaurut Nane. Madur ko elettirada. La, la,
Da-da-da-da-da.
la, la.
There's a remake of that.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
right.
nostalgic.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a wonderful.
But back in the day,
Yeah,
that was as viral as you could get.
yeah,
That was a case study brand.
yeah,
And that set the tone for my career. And back in the day, it was pre social media, right?
yeah,
So viral meant it goes in the papers.
yeah,
And we had so many people writing articles about that campaign, critiquing it,
yeah,
positives, negatives, all that. But that was the first thing that reinforced my decision
yeah,
to get into marketing. The second one, I guess, was to do the Is There a Line in Your Campaign by Library,
yeah,
Api
yeah.
Singh Shilpa.
Happy seeing you once,
That
Shilpa.
was iconic again, viral in its different way. We had protesters coming out against it in front of parliament and whatever after we launched
With the
campaigns,
connection
etc.
of the song.
Oh yeah, that was iconic.
I
That
mean,
I
I think
absolutely iconic
that
campaign.
campaign still connects audience with the brand.
Absolutely. So I did the second campaign. The first one was already done
Yeah,
because we found the brand was a bit dated with the
yeah,
first one. So we made it a little bit more modern and contemporary and
yeah,
super hit.
yeah.
And yeah, so I guess those two really solidified me as having taken the right decision. In between, I worked at Reckitt's as well back
Yeah,
in the Reckitt and Coleman, worked for some iconic leaders,
yeah, yeah,
and learned the science of branding, because I think at Dali Butler we learned the art of branding,
yeah,
doing it the entrepreneurial way.
yeah.
Yeah, but the rest is history, I
Weren't
guess.
you also behind that campaign that Elephant House Cup? Wasn't that
No,
also?
Cup was before me. I
It
think
was before you.
before me.
But
Laksir
you were
Vikram
part
and
of
his
the
team.
part of that brand, right?
Oh yeah, so I was a marketing manager for Elephant House
Like
as well back in the day. So
how many
oh
brands did
gosh,
you work with? Just a rough idea.
oh my god, I don't know. I mean, even at Reckitt's, I had 7 brands back in the all market leaders: Harpic, Lysol, Brasa, Silver, Coleman's. Some of those guys brands are not around, but Lion Brewery, obviously,
Yeah,
Ninja, Denta. Some of them, most of them were market leaders.
yeah.
And Jana Shakti, of course, was
Do
another
you miss it
campaign
now?
brand I was part of.
Do you miss it now?
Branding.
Yeah,
Not really, right? We do some crazy
yeah.
cool
We
stuff.
do, we
It's
do.
just that now it doesn't get attributed to us because we are no longer the
Client,
clients.
yeah,
So we help clients to. So I mean, ever since leaving my corporate life, we've done stuff together as well. How
yeah.
many awards have we won now? Right, 2 years running. So I mean, we won so many awards. Seylan Bank back in the day, I think the last two great content pieces was we really technically created Blockandino, right?
Yeah,
Remember you, me, Gamika, and Eugene in a room. I
yeah,
wanted 2 people to represent Ceylon to do agile marketing. We were doing crazy agile marketing at
yeah,
Ceylon, right?
yeah,
And then we approached some people, if you remember.
yeah,
One person declined. That's how we approached Dino through Gamika, right?
yeah, yeah,
And the rest is history. Technically that
yeah.
was their first ever
Yeah,
content piece
yeah.
together, and that went viral. Then
They can, yeah,
right? But then after leaving my corporate life, remember what we've done for another bank? 2 years running for NDB, I think we won gold awards.
yeah,
Personal ideas. One was with the brand ambassador for video banking. We
yeah,
won the gold award. And the ultimate was you and I again, we combined to win the Grand Prix for
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
The Grand Prix at DGs as well,
yeah. That
for
was
the
very,
Bradby campaign of all things,
yeah,
right?
that was
So
very,
we continue to do it. So in that sense, I guess I don't miss it. But so now it's about creating my brand, I guess, to change people's lives,
yeah,
maybe. Yeah.
yeah. Um, okay, interesting question. I think I kind of have the answer for this question also, but
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna ask
Uh-huh.
anyway. Have there been any campaigns where everybody thought
Hmm.
this is gonna fail miserably, but
Hmm.
you took a risk? Because I know you are a risk taker.
Oh
I
yeah,
know
big
you are
time.
very aggressive when
Yeah,
it comes. And
yeah, yeah,
I know
big
you
time.
love to push boundaries.
Absolutely.
So
In every
was
form.
yeah,
Yeah.
and was there a campaign where people said this is Tiran, this is going
Oh
to be
yeah, yeah, yeah.
horrible, we
Yeah.
can't take the risk, if
Yeah.
this fails your neck is on the line, but you
Yeah,
still
yeah.
did it and it
Yeah.
turned out to be amazing.
Yeah, so many campaigns. I mean, I mean, I can't count because I've taken so many calculated risks. Calculated risks.
Yeah.
In my mind, I always had the confidence to, I guess, take those challenges. There are so many. I guess even Block and like it was controversial at the time with some of the things we did, but for a bank. So I think we were the first bank that adopted social media back in the day and Facebook marketing. No other bank touched social media. I was the first guy to go to the board and said, "Hey, this is a double-edged sword." But I had less budgets than most of the banks, right? Half the budget of some of the biggies. So this is the only way we could stand up. So we took risks. We got into it
Yeah.
early. But another one, I would go back to say a huge risk. A lot of people didn't like that approach at the time. The ownership at Janashakti, when I had just, you know, convince them to get rid of the brand ambassador
Hmm.
and do a campaign without the brand ambassador for the first time for a general campaign, motor campaign, and it became a crazy hit called Safety Net.
Hmm.
So, and we were supposed to sell a GPS unit. This is during the war years, right? So we were not allowed to sell a single unit.
Hmm.
But surely on the power of that campaign, we doubled the growth rate from 15% to about 32, 33% growth rate for Jan Shakti full option motor
Hmm.
at the time. So that was a huge risk because everybody was, again, my own boss said, are you sure you want to take this risk by getting rid of the brand ambassador? I remember Ramesh after shout
Yeah.
out, by the way, Group MD, now at the
Yeah.
time as a marketing director. He was at me so many times to bring back the brand ambassador. I'm not going to mention the name.
Yeah.
And I was adamant. I said, no way, right? And that's the first time we got away from a brand ambassador at Janashakti to establish the Janashakti brand
Yeah.
in a much bigger way
Yeah.
with more power without the endorsement
Yeah. You
factor.
laid foundation to a good question. What differentiates or what separates a good campaign from a legendary campaign?
For me, a little bit of controversy or at least pushing the boundaries is what
Hmm.
it takes. A lot of people are not brave enough to take those decisions. In my view, as a marketer, you have to be brave.
Yeah.
If you want to create something legendary, you got to be brave.
Yeah.
You got to do something crazy,
Yeah.
something different, something innovative,
Yeah.
something that's not been done. So there's a risk component. So the truly great marketers that I've seen, the legendary guys who create legendary campaigns and products and innovations, are the guys who push those limits, are the guys who are brave enough to take those challenges. That's I guess my answer for that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know even clients, right, think that most of the time marketing is about creativity. But I believe that the real magic comes from strategy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know you're a strategist. How do you approach strategy before you come up with a campaign?
So how I approach it is very simple. I mean, I've been practicing this for so many years now, and it still continues to date. We kind of have a few fights with our colleagues sometimes, right? When they say, "Here's a crazy creative idea." No, I don't start there, right?
Yeah.
I always try to find an insight,
Yeah.
whether it's a consumer insight, whether it's a pain point in society, whether it's a brand insight, competition based insight. I always look for an insight,
Yeah.
usually, hopefully, a consumer based or market led insight. So, based on that insight, I try to develop a strategy for the relevant brand that we are working on. And then we come out with a campaign based on that strategy. I tend not to get, although, we and I, we always create a lot of crazy creative campaigns.
Yeah.
But the process I always prefer is first find the insight, find the strategy, then hammer the creative.
Insight.
That creates integration,
Yeah.
that creates synergy, that creates impact and better ROI, I believe.
Insight, strategy, creative.
Yeah, that's right. See, the thing is this, right, Rocky? Um, you can have super creative campaigns that come out, but the problem is if it's not connected to the brand, if it's not connected to the strategy of the brand and consumer insight, then the impact that you create won't be as great.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I believe in insights and strategy to lead to a great creative. You can always have brilliant creatives and they can still work.
Yeah.
But the probability of it working is lesser when it's a super creative, but it's not connected to the brand strategy. That's my
Yeah.
personal belief. Yeah.
So, Tilan, you were one of the early people who pushed digital transformation, especially in the banking sector when digital came out.
Yeah.
What made you see that this is going to be something that, that revolutionized the market,
Yeah.
which others didn't see at that time?
Yeah, so I mean, I've seen different waves, right? So when I first started coming to marketing with like the Ninja Times, it was like TV, radio, press,
Yeah.
and merchandising, and we pushed it to the limit with crazy sponsorships and activations, right? With Ninja, and then I saw how dark marketing works with Lion Brewery. I think only two companies in Sri Lanka truly mastered it, which was CTC and Lion Brewery. So I saw different types of that types of content, and when digital came along, I realized, hey, this is a new wave, right? And I guess in my case, I was also pushed to it with my back against the wall because when I joined the industry and joined Seylan, it was after the crash. So the CEO was new, I was new, the CFO was new, and then the CRO was new. A few newcomers came into the system, joined up with the old team, but it was very hard for us to fight with the other competitors because their budgets were massive. We had gone through a shock, right? No budgets. So I remember combining the entire budget to do one campaign after I joined. And I was criticized so much for it internally. My own brand team wasn't backing it at the time. They were all wondering what the heck I was doing to create one giant mega campaign that just to say Seylan is back. And it worked brilliantly, but I took a huge risk that if that had gone wrong, I was probably my neck on the line,
Yeah.
right? I remember going to the board to convince them on that. So crazy risk, but digital for me was the way to go because that was the way I saw that we could compete with the market because none of the other guys were taking the risk to go in.
Yeah.
None of the other competitors in banking were going into it. And my budgets being minuscule compared to others, I saw this as the way to get to customers with much high ROI, low cost, high ROI, but risky. So that was up to me and the team, not me, the team at Seylan and our agencies to really push the limits without taking too many risks. And it worked really well. And for years, Seylan was the benchmark. For digital and influence for and even things like agile marketing,
Yeah.
Seylan has been the benchmark for so many years
Yeah.
because we were the pioneers. We started it, and we just kept pushing limits there on us, but managing risk always, of course.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are 1,000 more questions that I can put to you, and this is a very interesting conversation, but we have to cut it short because of time. I will definitely see you in another episode
For sure.
very, very soon.
Yeah.
So, to close off, one last question for any other young CMOs or young marketers out there. What is your one advice? One advice for today. We can talk
Yeah.
about more advices in the future.
My one advice is for guys like CMOs and marketers, and more since your question for senior marketers versus junior marketers, two different levels of advice, is that stop playing safe. I see too many clients because we're on this side of the table now. We speak to so many clients. A lot of clients play it safe, and as a result, you have average results. If you want extraordinary results, if you want things that stand out, if you want to leave a legacy as having done something great, start being brave, start taking some calculated risks, go against your category. We've done it over and over again. I mean, even for strategies, I always go away from the category that I'm working on. I look at benchmarks in other industries to bring. So same thing, be brave, be bold, move forward.
All right. Thank you very much, Tilan. So that is it for today's episode of The Content Room. We will be back with another episode with another influential character. So don't forget to subscribe, put any comment, maybe recommendations for questions from the next guests who will be on this podcast. So until I see you again, adios. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.